when I was a little boy growing up in New Orleans. On some weekends, my father would gather us up in his little car and take us for a ride out in the country to see our relatives who lived out there. He thought it was important that we visit out in the country to see where we came from. He thought that way we would know where we were going. We didn't care about the philosophy, but we liked the ride. Anyway, he'd pack us up. My brother Benson, my sister Joyce next, and then I was the youngest, and my mother Naomi, and my father Clarence. And we'd head out to the country. And the further and further we'd get out of town, the further and further the houses were apart after a while. And after a while, we'd see a house every now and then. In fact, they were very far apart. It looked like it would be like a shotgun apart. Maybe that was the point, I'm not sure. But we passed these old houses, and they were all the same color. They all looked alike, and they had these old beaten weatherboards. And they had these long porches, very short porch. And I couldn't get over how all of them were old. In fact, I think they were never new. They must have been built old. There were no new ones at all. And this long porch extended all the way across the front of the house. Very short, 1, 2, third step, you're on the porch. And as we'd ride, we'd see things we didn't see in the city. We'd pass and see cows, horses, pigs, chickens strutting around with all their parts intact, you know. No bucket of wings or nothing like that. But we loved it. And after a while, with all this riding, we'd wind up in front of the acreage. And there was 2 acres before the old house that we were going to be going to. And I was the youngest, and I'd jump out and run towards the house, and they'd be waiting for us on the porch. And they had some carriages out there too, and Aunt I'd be waiting, and they talked that real funny talk out there too. You couldn't understand the words they were saying, you know. But if the eyebrows went up, you knew it was serious. But anyway, I'd run quick toward that, and they'd be waiting for you. And some of them women were well endowed, and Aunt Dot would grab me and pull me in that bosom. I'd be trying to breathe, you know. And she'd be loving me to death, you know. I think that's where the prayers come from, in fact. But I'd smell all that talcum powder while she just rocking me. Then she'd let me loose, I fall on the floor, you know. I survived. But it was a good place to be out there. And when we get out there, we'd spend the weekends. So we got to see many things. And out there was no running water, no gas, no gasoline, no electricity. Anyway, in the evenings, after supper, everyone would gather on this long porch that I mentioned, this long, low porch. Always after dinner, because when you eat out in the country, the way they feed you, you ain't good for nothing but laying around on the porch. But this was before children owned the world. We used to sit at the lowest level down there. But as I sit there, I would see the hierarchy really at work. Angie and Cousin Nenny, because they had them real funny names, Uncle Edward, Uncle Mui, all that. And Angie and Melanie be sitting in the swing over there swinging slowly. And Uncle Edward and Uncle Mui sitting down over there on the bench lighting up, legally lighting up, you know. Anyway, as they would sit there, they would talk, and I'd hear these grown folk. Sounds like one up there. But I heard all kind of wonderful words of wisdom while I was sitting there. And with these wonderful conversations that I heard, I knew then that everything important in life for this little boy was on that porch. I felt warmth, love, security. There was someone on this porch who could do something about every encounter that could come across. It was a marvelous feeling. And as they'd sit there and talk all these stories, I just relished in all that. And there was this old matriarch of all. She would sit in an old rocking chair next to the door with her eyes just about closed. She'd never say anything, just rock real slow. She knew more than everybody, so she said less. That's usually the case anyway, though, isn't it? But it was just such a wonderful, secure feeling. Then the day began to give into the night. And like I said, without electricity and without running water or gas, things would get quite different at night. Then the night would take over and it would become totally dark. And without electricity and street lights, the moonlight would show off. Again, with no electricity, there wasn't that big electrical hum that American cities have. We don't pay attention to it, but it's always with us. The electricity that keeps all our generators running. In America, it's between B flat and B natural. Drive musicians crazy. England operates on DC current, so they got another note over there, you know. It's nice, but it's not that. Maybe it has something to do with why they don't have much ice. But anyway, as the night would take over, quiet was very quiet, and dark was very dark. However, as I would sit there and look up into the trees, I'd see these leaves that were facing the moon would have little silver lights on them. And as the wind would blow, those little lights would flicker on and off. Big gust of wind would come, and these lights would just really carry on. And we're going back down. For some reason, when it got dark, we'd begin to hear different stories of all the beautiful words of wisdom and security. When it get dark, the stories would get gory. Well, they weren't supposed to be stories, really. But as you need to see, I beside that mule on the other side of the levee last night. I hollered at him, John, I know that's you. Beating on that mule, hitting that mule with a chain. I said, John, you're going to have to pay for all that. And he was cussing like a sailor. And Uncle Moye hollered, woman, that man been dead 10 years. What are you talking about? She said, you can believe that if you want, but he says he's going to visit you next week. And I didn't know grown folk lied yet, you know. So that was very true to me. But that's all right, because nothing could happen to me not on this porch. Let him come if you will. And we'd see things like real wells with real water in it. And an outhouse. Funny thing about the outhouse, every time we'd make a trip out there, the outhouse being moved. I was grown before I found out why that happened. And they didn't have any half moon on the White House. On the outhouse. But a real well, and Uncle Moye would go there and get real water out of it. Down there they had frogs, snakes, all kinds of things in the well. You just move some of that out the way, get a big bucket and draw it up. Say, you want some water? I said, no, thank you. But anyway, after a while that old rocking chair would stop. And that old lady would reach down on the floor and pick up a little funny looking flask and unscrew the top off it and take a little hit. Wipe her chops off, screw it back on, and everything would start up again. And everybody would say, yeah, she's alive. Love those times, and there were so many beautiful things that happened, more than what could ever be said in one night. Because we had to ride home and we'd have to stop at Miss Bueller's grocery store, who we knew. But what makes it important at all, as it is what inspired this song. Southern night, have you ever felt a southern night? Free as a breeze, not to mention the trees, whistling tunes that you know in the soul. Southern skies, just as blue deep in when close your eyes. I apologize to anyone who can truly say that he has found a better way. Feels so good, feels so good, it's frightening. Wish I could stop this world from fighting. La da da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da da. Oh man, hear his talk, they walk the whole land. Every flower touched his cold hand. As he slowly walked by, the weeping willow would cry for joy.